I didn't want to cover this story, to be honest, but with a title like this, I cannot resist. It is so beautiful. So ushikushi. So ushikushi. Now, this happened during the height of the moral panic. You know, when the pandemic was at its strongest peak and the government tried to keep people safe, it was also encouraging people to go out and protest. And I didn't really talk about it that much because at the time people were hyper emotional. They were canceling books, they were canceling TV shows, they were canceling cartoon characters. And there really wasn't that much of a point to talk about it anyway. But now, when people are a lot calmer and we can look back with a smile on our face, we can have a discussion about what happened. Now, I remember that the organizers of Black Lives Matter came out and said that they were Marxists. And this is a public video. They're proud of it. And I'm thinking, like, hold on a little bit. Wasn't the United States founded on the concept of liberty? Is Marxism and liberty compatible? Can they live under the same roof? Just a question, right? But what are Marxists for? Well, Marxists are for equality. Oh, I see. So making sure that the wealth disparity shrinks, that everyone gets a piece of the pie. They don't like wasteful capitalism. They think wastefulness is a bad thing. They care about the environment. The environment is important. So a lot of people got bewildered when they noticed that some of the co-founders of this beautiful Marxist organization were buying mansions. Because a mansion seems wasteful for a person, doesn't it? I mean, look, a person can live very well in a one-room apartment, but two-room apartment is enough. Okay, maybe 3 rooms if you have a lot of kids. Anything more than that is wasteful capitalism, I've been told. Late-stage capitalism. Do you know how much pollution it's required to build such a large castle? And not only that, there are people without houses. Isn't it a waste of space? I mean, instead of building a large mansion, can't you build like one of those brutal architecture, Marxist buildings where everyone gets a piece of the pie? So people consider that to be a little bit hypocritical. Now, if she was a staunch, pro-American capitalist that just likes to make money, no one would complain. But like, she's not that. Like, no, she is fighting for the oppressed. The oppressed in this situation being her, of course. Because a lot of people donated money to Black Lives Matter in order to help the black community. And in a way, they did. I mean, the owners of these mansions happen to be black. So yes, like, the money did go where it was supposed to go. I mean, it's the concept of representation, isn't it? I mean, if she has a large mansion, then that means that she represents black people, so all black people benefit from her owning a large mansion. This is how identity politics work. Now, with that aside, when people initially found out about this, justifiably, some people were upset. And I remember Facebook removing, even though like it's in the mainstream media, even though it's public knowledge, they removed the articles initially because it was considered doxing. As if the reason people were showing this was to get her in trouble, to get activists at her door. Not because like it was of public interest. Like, where did all the money that people donated for the Black Lives Matter organization, where did it end up? What happened? How are black people benefiting from the donations? Because a lot of people donated. It's a good question. How is it reinvested into the black community? Like maybe some of the areas that during the riot suffered damage, because there were a lot of black people crying because their businesses were destroyed and vandalized, and like maybe now they're going to get new businesses. Probably not. But the story gets very interesting because, as you look here, the real estate agent bought the mansion for $3.1 million and then sold it to BLM for $6 million 6 days later. 6. Later, he says that everything was handled above board. So, let me tell you a hypothetical, chat. Let's assume that I start making videos about helping the Ukrainian refugees in Romania. And I start the GoFundMe. So you can donate to me, and I will use that money in order to help the refugees in Romania. And let's say I make a lot of money doing it. Let's say I make $100,000 in donations. Now, I will hire someone, I don't know. Who would I hire? I would hire Mr. Metokur. I hire Mr. Metokur. And I be like, okay, can you draw me a nice logo for my channel so that I can do better PR? And I want you to draw this logo for me. And he draws me the logo, and I give him $50,000 for the drawing. Do you think that some people might be a little bit upset? That they'll be like, hold on, little V, didn't you say that the money is to help the refugees? And I'm like, well, yeah, but like in order to help them, I need to raise awareness. I'm raising awareness, and in order to raise awareness, I need a nice logo for my channel. It's like, okay, V, but like, why is it costing $50,000? Shut the fuck up, it's all above board. Kind of a little bit like what's happening here is, I mean, it's above board. I'm not saying it's not. Like, no one is saying it's under the board. Okay, like you don't have to hire a private investigator to fit. No, it is above board. But at the same time, it's a little bit sus. I mean, how often does it happen that a person buys a $3.1 million mansion and sells it for double the price? Double, like he flipped it for double. If only... How stupid does the person doing the sale must have felt? I was like, God damn it, I could have got double the money. If only I had the right connections. Maybe, you know what I think? I think he hired a crew. He hired one of those crews, maybe a journalist. They hired CNN, because CNN is really good at reshaping reality within 6 days, you know? Like, one day, everyone needs to go out and protest. The next day, everyone needs to stay inside and keep grandma safe. It happens from one day to another. That's how good CNN is. So maybe CNN came there and said, this mansion is 3.1 million. And the next day, it's like, no, it's 6 million. That's how it worked. Usually you have, like by the way, you can do this. Like, you can flip houses. But like, some people have to invest. So you buy a house that's really bad looking. And then you invest into it, you renovate it, and you flip it. And how stupid must those people feel? Apparently, you can do better than that. You can flip it for half the price without having to invest a single cent in it. So it's not really a big surprise when people start looking into this, because there were people who genuinely wanted to help the black community. I know, shocking, right? But they did. They donated a lot of money to this organization, thinking that the money is going to go to the black community. And now they're like, why is this happening? This is horrible. So people are investigating. And one of the most powerful tools in the Marxist toolbox seems to be that when you get criticisms and when people are looking into what you have done, say that it's harassment, say that you're feeling unsafe, or that you're feeling triggered. I wonder how triggered must the black community feel when they thought that, oh, look how much donations BLM is getting. Maybe they're going to invest into our communities a little bit? Send some kids to college or something? No. So, by the way, I remember there was another scandal, which I found very interesting. There was another BLM organization that apparently wasn't the official one. And there were articles saying, oh, don't donate to these guys because they're not the official ones. And I'm thinking like, well, so what? It's a charity that donates money for the black community. Like, why does it matter if it's the official one? Well, you know, now we know, because the unofficial one didn't get to buy mansions, I guess. So the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation comes under scrutiny yet again as it purchases a $6 million mansion. And I love how the blue check marks are saying, it's like, what? So like people aren't allowed to buy a house? I think there's a difference between a house and a mansion. You know, one is something you need. Another one is a luxury. Especially, again, like for a Marxist, right? Who talks about equality. They're not like for capitalism. It's like, look, I worked hard and I bought a mansion and I wish you will buy one as well. No, they're like, no one should have a mansion because there's a lot of homeless people and they need the space. And mansions pollute the environment. No. However, we should not have that conversation because it is triggering and unsafe. I shit you not. I shit you not. Now, apparently, I can't read this with a straight face. Oh my god. I can hardly wait for the VTube avatar so you guys can see me how I'm just bursting into laughter uncontrollably. Yeah, I guess when the IRS is looking into the shit that you did, yes, it is unsafe and probably triggering, but that's a good thing. Yeah, that is literally a good thing, unironically. You know, when the media writes articles that are completely wrong and they add, and that's a good thing and it became a meme. No, unironically, like that would be a good thing. Yes, if you've done shady things and the IRS is looking into you, you should be triggered and you should feel unsafe. If you didn't do shady things, then you have nothing to worry about. It's like, okay, well, everything is up and up, everything is on the board. It's an inconvenience, I guess. Being audited is not fun. You have to hire couple of accountants and it takes time to actually go down there and speak to people. It's annoying, but it's not triggering. It's an inconvenience. I'm like, it's like triggering. Look, honestly, people speak in real life like they speak on Twitter. I'm like, I thought this is like the Twitter mating call. It's like, when you can't really express something, but you want to articulate that you're upset and you can't really explain why. She added saying that she actually did not know what the form was before all this happened. You don't need to know, Poopsikins. If you have $6 million to spend on a mansion, you hire accountants that know these things. It's how the world works. Like, it's okay. No one needs to know everything. Like, you don't need to know medicine in order to be able to hire a doctor to fix your appendicitis. Collars, wait, is that her name? Her name is Collars. Okay. Went on to claim filing that the financial disclosure forms didn't seem safe for us. Well, given that the media is looking into them, yeah, I can definitely see it doesn't seem safe. Yes, when you do stuff like this, you prefer it's not into the public eye. Yeah, I do understand. Doesn't see. Who's going to come after you, huh? Is it going to be the black community that feels that they donated to the wrong people? Oh, I think I know why it's not really safe. It's not because people are going to come to you. It's because people might not donate in the future. See, if people come to you, then you can use that as victim box and make more money. If people don't donate, that's horrible. Absolutely the worst thing imaginable. This is like deeply unsafe. This is literally being weaponized against us, against people we work with. You know, like, if you were to have actually donated to the black community, they might actually view this sympathetic. But, like, who's going to sympathize with this? There are people in the ghettos and are looking at what you just bought and you're now trying to play the victim card. I don't think it works. I mean, in the United States, I know identity politics is in vogue right now, but I think class conflict still exists at a deep emotional level. It's hard to sympathize for millionaires, especially when Eat the Rich used to be in vogue just 5 years ago, you know? I don't know. Like, maybe it works. I would be surprised. America keeps surprising me every day with its ideology. So maybe a person that can spend $6 million that they take from donations for other things, and they use that money in order to buy themselves a mansion, maybe they can cry victim and actually get away with it. It would be interesting. I'm being audited. This is triggering. Does make me feel safe. People morale in an organization is so important. Yeah, like, how do you manage to raise morale? Does everyone gets to buy a mansion? I would be demoralized as fuck. Like, if I were to be with other YouTubers, let's say I get 4 others of my friends, and we do a collab, and we raise money for charity, and then one YouTuber manages to buy a mansion with that money, I would be demoralized. I'll shit you not. I would definitely feel a little bit under the weather if that happens. But if their organizations and the people in it are being attacked and scrutinized at everything they do, well, I don't think you're being attacked and scrutinized at everything you do. I think you're just being attacked and scrutinized for buying a $6 million mansion. I think that might be it, Chief. That leads to deep, like, resistance and trauma. Well, yeah, but imagine the resistance and trauma of the people that were supposed to be getting this money from the charity. Imagine their resistance and trauma, you know? Oh God, like I just, I, I don't know what to say. Chad, this is so unbelievably ridiculous. Is this actually good PR when they say something like this? I mean, you know, were there people upset before? It's like, oh my God, they bought a mansion, really? But then they hear the explanation. It's like, oh well, I guess that makes sense. I'm really curious. So yeah, I'll be talking about this a little bit more on my live stream. But thank you for watching this. I'll see you guys later. Take care.